DJ,
Yes.
like Uncle Luke was the thing.
Yes.
Uncle
Oh my
Al.
God. Yes. Yes.
Uncle
Yes,
Luke.
child. Yes.
Yeah, and it was all about the twerking, right? Booty popping. We called it
Yes.
booty popping. And
Yes.
so, that was the thing that Black girls are doing in my generation, right? And so I liked it. Like I didn't see anything wrong with it. Yes, there was always that, like, these were grown ass women, shaking their ass. And as a little girl, you kind of know that, maybe I shouldn't be watching this, but there was like a draw to it. I love Lil Kim, that Lil Kim's iconic pose where she's posing in that, with her pelvis wide open with the chinchilla coat. Like, that is like,
Yes.
oh my God. So
Powerful.
anyway, yeah, powerful. And so one day I was in church and the drums was hitting, the drums speak to the pelvis, right? And so
Yes.
I started twerking in church. I was like 8 and I didn't think anything of it. I started like, like just getting in church, and I get a tap, like a poop, 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 poop tap. And I look up and she's like, you can't do that over here. You cannot do that over here. And I looked at her and I was like, why not? Like, literally, like, why not? Like, I was just like,
Yeah.
I don't like understand. Like, I didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong. But then, that's when the messaging begins, that you're not supposed to do certain things with your body as a woman, right?
Yeah.
Keep your legs closed. That kind of conditioning. That's what I was like. I think that's when, like, the conditioning really started to settle into my body.
I always wanted to be a grown woman, honey.
I love it.
I remember the first time, the joy I got out of shaking my hips. That's why when you was talking about dancing earlier, like you connected to the dance at the church. So I got a church story too, and then we're gonna close this out.
Okay, I want to hear it.
I'm standing in the vestibule of the church, getting ready to go in. I got a cute little white dress with my mama, and the music starts to play at the church. I start pop locking, doing my little hand like that, like it's a pop locking move. And my mama reached out and tapped me real good, like, girl, if you don't be still, if you don't be still in these super church, this ain't what this is for. I'm getting it.
How old were you?
Girl, I had to be every bit of 7, 8 years old.
Same age as me.
Yes!
It's something at that age. I feel like I was so connected to my body at that age. There's something happening at that age. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a vivid memory of me running into my mama's living room when I was about 4 or 5 years old with a little red, like, cardigan sweater on and butt naked up under that child. Running in that living room and just shaking my little butt, honey, with so much joy. It gave me so much joy to shake my hips as a little girl. Every time. We had this childhood chant, and every time I got to the part, we said hula, hula. Now who that? Ooh, we think she bad enough to kick your butt, and you be shaking your little hips. Child, gave me so much joy. It did.
One of the things that we need to really start paying attention to is chronic stress. Chronic stress is, to me, at the crux of everything, especially women's health. So when I began working with a woman that's struggling with fertility challenges, one of the very, 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 very first things that I do is I ground her in the feminine journey, which is a story structure that I use, which is used in Waiting. Like, if you've watched Waiting to Excel, you know the feminine journey. So I use that as a story structure to help her make sense of the bigger story that's playing out in her life and in her fertility journey. And one of the things that she has to really, really embrace is that the fertility challenge is necessary. It's necessary because it's taking her through cycles of much needed change. And a lot of the times the change has to do with her having to let go of certain biases, beliefs, and behaviors that no longer serve her, having to spend some time in self-discovery, learning who she is as a woman, and having to spend some time learning more about her body, the feminine female body, and what makes it different, right? And one of the major illusions that she has to let go of is that the only difference between her and her male counterpart are her periods and her ability to have babies. Now I'm going to get into what I mean by that. In this society where we as women are constantly fighting for equality, constantly fighting to be treated equally, just always in this fighting state, constantly fighting for justice, we've become a generation of women that's very susceptible to overworking and having to prove ourselves in a very male-dominated society. Now, this is very, very harmful for us in terms of our health and our well-being, because our bodies, your body, my body, the female body, is more stress sensitive than men's bodies. We react to stress differently depending where we are in our menstrual cycle and where we are in our reproductive years, right? And so, like, so our bodies are way different than men when it comes to how we react to stress. Now, why would that be the case? Why would our bodies be more stress sensitive? Well, let's think about this from an evolutionary standpoint. From an evolutionary standpoint, we are the childbearing gender. And so our bodies need to be very, very crystal clear about whether it's safe to have a baby or not. And because of this, the female metabolism, the female body, has a more sensitive, refined mechanism to detect stress than men's metabolisms in their bodies, right? Now, we don't grow up with this knowledge, and so a lot of us don't really pay attention to the stress levels like we need to, and therefore we don't manage our stress levels in the ways that we really need to in order to preserve our health, our well-being, and to actually thrive, right?
You better talk about it. Thank you.
We do not, like, that's not something that we grow up with the messaging that our hormones make us fucking crazy, right? But we don't grow up with, why are our hormones so sensitive to the environment? Why is it so sensitive? It's not because we're crazy.
Yeah.
That's not why. It's because we carry the babies.